Now, details of our first story. An Accra Commercial Court has thrown out the case brought by the Executive Director of the Center for Freedom and Accuracy, Andrew Awuni, seeking to challenge the sale of Merchant Bank to private equity firm Fortis. The court, presided over by Justice Sophia Benasco, says Andrew Awuni last spoke on locals to meddle in the matter. His lawyer, however, says the matter is not entirely over.
The Center for Freedom and Accuracy was in court, seeking an injunction on the transaction to offload SNET's majority stake in Merchant Bank to Fortis. But counsel for Fortis, Tony Lita, at a previous hearing, had argued that Andrew Awuni was neither a board member nor a trustee of Merchant Bank, and as such, had no locus to send the matter to court. The court, presided over by Justice Sophia Benasco, upheld the arguments of Tony Lita and said, even though the matter was of public interest, Andrew Awuni did not have the legal capacity to challenge the sale of Merchant Bank by its biggest shareholder, SNET, in court. Justice Sophia Benasco said SNET by law reports to Parliament and therefore suggested that the right person to protect Andrew Awuni's interest would be his MP. She added that only a trustee could be clothed with the powers Andrew Awuni is seeking. Counsel for Andrew Awuni, Ibet Fabio, said they would appeal the matter.
We disagree with the ruling of the court, and we'll file an appeal. In any event, there are two more rulings coming on in January, meaning that this matter is still subsisting. So until 27 January, when those rulings come, the matter is still subsisting.
He later questioned the court's ruling.
If the position of the court is that, yes, you are a contributor to SNET, but if SNET uses your money for any other thing which does not bring profit and which will affect your pensions in future, you have no right to question SNET. If that is the state of the law, we will know now, so that people will advise themselves whether it is even worth putting your money in a trust that is not accountable to you.
Counsel for Fortis Equity Fund, Tony Lita, who declined to speak on camera, told the media, though he was excited about the ruling, he was disappointed the court did not award any punitive costs against the plaintiff. According to him, the lawsuit had hurt the image of Merchant Bank and Fortis far more than the alleged mismanagement the erstwhile managements of the bank have been accused of.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Center for Freedom and Accuracy, Andrew Awuni, has indicated that the case was far from over. He spoke to the news team's Bright Nanamfo on today's big story.
Because it's a landmark ruling that defines the relationship between the contributor and the Senate fund. Today, it has been ruled that contributors who just contribute, that they have no right to question what happens with their contributions. That's the ruling. So really, you can take out Andrew Awuni out of this ruling. You can take out Merchant Bank out of this ruling. And then you sitting there and asking me this question, that ruling is for you. It's for your producer. It's for everybody who works in multi-TV and pays some contributions to the need. The ruling is that from this day forth, contributors have no right to ask Senate what they do with their contributions. What it means is that even if Senate goes to Las Vegas and begins to gamble with your contributions, you have no right to ask any questions. That's the power relations that have been defined by the ruling. Because it involves a lot of people, millions of people contribute to the Senate fund. And because this ruling affects all of you, if we do not do anything to reverse it, it stays there for even generations yet unborn. That's what it means. So it is an enormous responsibility. And I think it is only right that we exploit every opportunity that still exists to right whatever has happened. So I don't know what is difficult about an appeal. I hope that the lawyers will be able to supply something different, something new, something stronger, whatever it is. And I will discuss it with them. And if I'm comfortable with In fact, remove my input to contest the contributors' capacity.
Meanwhile, legal counsel for Andrew Awuni Egbetfebo has filed a notice of appeal at the Court of Appeal on the grounds that the High Court ruling was wrong and has to be overturned. He told Joy News the ruling by the High Court does not reflect accurately Section 90 of Act 766, the law that established SNET. He expressed hope with 3 judges expected to sit on the appeal case who ruled in his favor. In a related development, Andrew Awuni has subtly challenged the TUC and other stakeholders to join the fight against the sale. He said if the Secretary General of the TUC, Kofi Asamoah, is truly committed to the fight against the sale, then the court is in court.
Meanwhile, Organized Labour says it remains resolute in its fight against the sale of a merchant bank to the equity firm Fortis, despite a court ruling dismissing Andrew Awuni as the plaintiff challenging the sale. The Commercial Court in Accra on Wednesday upheld a motion filed by a lawyer for Fortis that the plaintiff had no capacity to sue. While the ruling may be a setback to the plaintiff and his lawyers, Organized Labour maintain they are unmoved by the ruling. Dr. Justice Yankson, Deputy General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, told Joy News that the ruling does not in any way negate the position taken by Labour. Prior to the ruling, 6 labour unions jointly held a press conference last week during which they demanded, among other things, the immediate suspension of the sale of Merchant Bank to Fortis. They argued that workers who owned majority shares in the bank, Merchant Bank, thanks to the investment by SNET, are entitled to the appropriate briefing on the sale. Dr. Yankson said once the ruling did not go into the details of the transaction, they still had every right to protest the sale and stood by their earlier position.
Still on Merchant Bank, the new owners of Merchant Bank Fortis Equity Fund has appointed Nila Salome as the new managing director designate. She is a corporate banker with 20 years experience in West Africa, having worked with EcoBank extensively. With brief stints on Fidelity and Zenith Bank, Nila is currently head of special projects at EcoBank Transact Now Incorporated and holds a Masters of Business Administration MBA from Henley Management College, UK. The announcement was contained in a statement ensured by the board of directors of Fortis. The statement also announced that it has formally and officially taken over Merchant Bank Ghana. The statement further assured the general public and other stakeholders that Fortis are committed to transforming Merchant Bank.
I'll turn our attention to other news. And the Council of State has lamented what it describes as a slow pace of justice delivery in Ghana, especially its implication for the fight against corruption. At a meeting with the President, its chair, Cecilia Johnson, said the anti-corruption battle will be fruitless if institutions supposed to deal with the canker remained weak. Gifty Ando-Apia reports the Council also made a number of recommendations.
The Council also commended government for a number of initiatives such as the Code of Conduct for Ministers and a task force to deal with officials indicted in the Auditor General's report. It, however, said all these will amount to nothing in the face of the systemic drawbacks.
The inadequacy of the number of legal officers at the Attorney General's Department have over the years served as a major drawback to the fight against corruption. Motivate these institutions through incentives and improved conditions of service.
The Council also praised government for its intervention following the recent utility tariff increase, but maintained that future increases will have to be staggered. It also asked that government should by all means ensure the recent housing project started at Ningo is completed. The restructuring of JIDA also came up.
There is no doubt that if managed properly, JIDA will become an effective avenue for employment creation for the teeming youth who remain unemployed after graduating from our educational institutions. We therefore urge government to ensure that competent and patriotic Ghanaians are entrusted with the responsibility of managing such a strategic national institution at all levels. Government must also ensure close monitoring of the various models and funds provided to achieve the laudable objectives of GIDA.
The council urged President Mahama to personally intervene in the Dagbon issue to bring reconciliation and urged governments to exploit the unifying potential of football as the country prepares to participate in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. President Mahama, in his response, said his next State of Nation address will spell out exactly what his government intends to do. He said an ongoing dialogue with the Education Ministry on nationalism-related studies will be further pursued.
All the issues that have been raised by the chairperson are very topical in respect of national debates. I think that probably the most critical issue that you have raised today is our sense of nationalism and patriotism. A group of people, just took a vehicle with a hoist and removed all the street lights for more than 1 kilometer on the new N1 highway. I've raised it several times with the Ministry of Education and the Education Service, and they say it is contained in social studies. But I think there's also space for us to do a public education campaign. The State of the Nation address is going to map out a solid vision as to where we want to take this country. Based on the State of the Nation address, the medium-term development framework is being prepared and finalized, and that medium-term framework will show exactly what we want to do in this country.
The president later went into a closed session with the council. This is the second such meeting. For Joy News, Gifty Andropia, Pediase Lodge.
Gift shops attendants in the capital continue to sing the same song year after year. It is just a week to Christmas, and according to them, last year's patronage is better than this year. They are, however, hopeful business will boom when it's just a few days to Christmas. Matilda Nyakua Dennis has more.
The Xmas season is here with us again, and as usual, presents cannot be absented from the celebrations. The custom of giving and receiving presents at Christmas reminds Christians of the presents given to Jesus by the wise men: frankincense, gold, and myrrh. However, for Christians, the greatest gifts given to the world can be found in John 3:16, which says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." Thus, receiving and giving gifts at Christmas has come to stay, making gift shops a must-go during the season. But attendants at gift shops in the capital say this year the expectations of many people may be disappointed since patronage is very low.
Actually, this year we are not seeing it at all, but we hope next week things will be better than.
But usually every time when we come year after year, you tell us you are not seeing it. When will you see it?
But this year, dear, it's not good.
Everything is not going well. Last year was a little bit better, but this year it's like people don't want to do it. So, but we hope a few weeks to the Christmas, maybe people will be coming.
We have just 1 week. This is the last week to Christmas.
We are hoping they will be coming.
I think people is feeling the price is high. Price is going high because of the dollar rate on something. So people is feeling to not buy much. Maybe after this week, maybe we'll start buying plenty.
Most shops visited displayed beautiful gifts and hampers ranging from 40 Ghana cedis to 1,000 Ghana cedis, depending on its contents. Other items on display were Christmas cards, teddy bears, Xmas embossed towels, drinks, biscuits and sweets, leaving customers spoiled for choice. These children could not be bothered about high prices of expectant gifts and may not share the same sentiments as their parents. So, what do you want for Christmas?
A nice dress.
A nice dress. Have you told Daddy already?
No.
So how will he know?
I say I'm coming to buy some of the Christmas things.
And will you be able to buy it?
I'm going to tell my mother.
For those who cannot afford the luxury of shopping at expensive gift shops, pavements such as these may serve their need. An interesting item in one of the shops was this beautiful snow-colored Christmas tree. Time will tell if traders will experience high sales as Christmas steadily draws closer. Matilda. Yeah.
The multi-million-dollar Bui Hydro project in the Banda district in the Bunaf region has been completed. President John Dramani Mahama is expected today officially to inaugurate the Bui generating station, which is expected to generate 400 megawatts of power. The Sino-Hydro Corporation of China, the contractor on the project, is scheduled to hand over the project to government today. Officials also indicated finishing touches, including the general cleaning of the site to beautify surroundings of the project site, would be carried out even after the inauguration. The Bui hydropower project was funded with a concessionary loan of $263.5 million from China and a buyer's credit of $298.5 million from the Exim Bank of same country.
Inflation in the price of goods and services produced by industries in Ghana saw a 13.7% increase in November. The Ghana Statistical Services has blamed largely on the utility subsector, which recorded the highest year-on-year producer price inflation of 40.8%.
The increase in the producer price inflation by 13.7% represents an increase in producer inflation by 2.1 percentage points relative to the rate in October 2013. The month-on-month change in producer prices between October 2013 and November 2013 was 1.5%, with the utility subsector recording the highest year-on-year PPI of 40.8%. The PPI, after declining continuously over a 5-month period to record the lowest rate of 4.7% in August 2013, has since been on the rise.
For all industry, the rate has fluctuated between November 2012 until March 2013, when it started declining to record a rate of 10.2% in April 2013. And subsequently declined to record 4.7% in August 2013. Since then, the rate has increased consistently to record 13.7% in November 2013.
According to the service, the trend will remain if the utility subsector continues to go up.
Utility prices started going up from September, October. So you see that from between September and October, utility prices went up. And then it affected the indices also. And then these indices, it is said that if there is an increase in the indices in a particular month, the effect will be shown from month to month. As long as this utility price increase is there, it will affect the
remain high.
For the rate to remain high. So if come September 2014. If there is no increase in the utility prices, then the rate will come down.
The manufacturing sector, which covers more than 2/3 of total industry, recorded a producer price inflation rate of 15.5%, followed by the mining and quarrying subsector with a negative 14.9%.
Well, I guess the economy is very critical. And talking about how critical it is, as part of efforts to economically empower and make people more self-reliant, a young entrepreneur in Ghana has been engaging some youth and women in rural areas to acquire skills in the manufacturing of bamboo bicycles. And the project is under the Ghana Bamboo Bikes Initiative, and it aims at taking advantage of the abundance of raw materials here in the country to manufacture and also assemble what they call high-quality, affordable cycles. And we'll bring you that very story.
So you can see the bicycle. The technology allows the manufacture of quality bicycles from bamboo using simple tools such as chisels, screwdrivers and spanners, so that unlike the steel-framed bicycles which require a more sophisticated fabrication process, the bamboo bicycles can easily be put together. The initiative focuses on developing a climate-smart alternative mode of transport, whilst creating employment opportunities for women and youth with little or no education.
We are more passionate about economic empowerment for women and youth. For 3 years now, we've been able to train more than 20 youths. We've been able to export some of our bicycle to international platforms, and locally too, people are also patronizing. Right now, if you have about 500 to 1,000 bicycles every month, there is a huge demand now. We're also hoping that we can broaden our scope or diversify our production to go into bamboo bike ambulance and bamboo cargo bags for women to carry loads from their farms to their homes or their destination.
She highlighted the environmental friendliness of the technology.
It's relevant to our environment because, as you know, bamboo contains a lot of oxygen that balances the carbon dioxide, and we are encouraging a lot of farmers to go into bamboo plantation. Environmentally, is mitigating climate change.
The Bright Generation Community Foundation is part of the UNDP's Global Environment Facility Small Grants Program, and the Bamboo Bicycles Initiative has support from the very top at the UN, with the Secretary General Ban Ki-moon seen in this endorsement. Resident Coordinator Ruby Sandorojan commended the foundation for making good use of the funds awarded them.
This initiative is an initiative that should be encouraged and should be recognized, and they should be congratulated. And one way of doing it is to see how is it that we can contribute to improving the environment. Innovation, environment, and women's empowerment. I think this has everything going for it.
The foundation also presented a prototype bicycle to the UNDP office.
Well, so that will be it for the news. And of course, you had some words of encouragement for the lady when we're not on air, off air. What did you want to say to the lady?
Look again.
Not her elbows.
Let's get our allies again. Executive Director of the Center for Freedom and Accuracy, Andrea Winnie, files appeal against court ruling and says the case is far from over.
Meanwhile, Organized Labour says it remains resolute in its fight against the sale of Merchant Bank to the equity firm Fortis, despite the court ruling, which is currently dismissing Andrea Winnie's own stance on whether he has a capacity to challenge the sale.
And with Christmas just a week away, we look at sale on the market.
Oh, I'm disappointed. I thought the last headline would be about the bicycle. So beautiful. Oh, so since she's laughing, that'll be it for the news for now. We'll bring to you sports, which is next.